Hello friends, in this video we will see ways to call store procedure using entity framework. In this video we will explain two methods by which you can call a store procedure using the entity framework. Now we can use the execute store query method exposed by data context object, which accepts the name of the store procedure and it calls the store procedure in the database and fetches the records. The second method is to import the store procedure itself to the EDMX file, and then after creating the function import we can use the function name to call the store procedure in the database. Now let's see through the application. Now we have a ASP.NET MVC3 application wherein we have a simple view where we have a simple button, that is the submit button, and on click of this button we are calling a controller method which in turn calls a service method which fetches the records from the database. And in the initial setup we are using the entity framework itself to pick the data from the database, and the records are basically these three records, these three users which are registered, and when the records are fetched we are showing its first name and the last name of all the records fetched from the database. Now let's run the application and see how it works. Now I click the get user button. Now you can see the user list, the 3 is the count for the user list, and the 3 users first name and the last name is displayed on the UI. Now we are going to fetch this data using store procedure, the same data. So in that case we need to create I need to create a store procedure. So I say create procedure get user details as register is my table. So our store procedure is created. Let's execute the store procedure and check whether it returns the details or not. Yes, it's returning the data. So now our store procedure is ready. Now we want to make some changes in the code. Let's stop the application. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use execute store query method of data context, which is exposed by the data context class, and my result is of type register class, and my store procedure name is get user details, and I want my result to be in list, type list. So let's run this and check whether it fetches the data from the database for us or not. Now I click the button again. Now again you can check the count is 3, and you can see the first name and the last name. This is how we can call store procedure using the execute store query method. Now let's move to the second way by which we can call a store procedure. In that case we need to first import the store procedure to the EDMX file. So to do that we are going to first right click on the EDMX file, then update model from database. Now a window opens. I want this store procedure to be imported, so I click this and I click finish. So now when you check the model browser, under store procedure we'll see one store procedure. Now for this we are going to create a function import. So we say add function import, and this is the function name which will be used in the code. So I'm keeping it same, get user details, and I'm going to map these entities to be registered. My result type would be of type register, so I'm selecting the register, and my store procedure is the same, get user details. I'm clicking OK. So I'm saving the EDMX file, and now when you go to the code, so instead of using execute store query, I can directly call this method get user details, and it accepts no parameter. So I want it to be in list. Now let's run this application and see whether this method returns the data from the database or not. I click the button again, and you can see the 3 records and FI, and the 3 records are displayed on the UI. So by this way you can call store procedure using the two ways. And when you are going to fetch large amount of data, large amount of record, using the store procedure is the better way, as entity framework doesn't perform well when there's a large chunk of data to be fetched from the database. So this is how we can call store procedure from the entity framework. Thank you, friends.